Let me end by kind of speaking to my colleagues as faculty and our students here. I think it's important for faculty to be involved in startups. First of all, if I can do it, you can do it. But even more importantly, there's a compelling reason to do it now, and that's really in support of the United States research infrastructure. You know, if you look back in the 70s and early 80s, what the infrastructure was that the universities did 7+ years of research, industry looked out maybe up to 3 years or something. But there were all these industrial research labs, whether it's Bell Labs, Watson Labs, GE Labs. It was in fact back in the 70s considered a noblesse oblige that every major corporation have a research lab. And it was those research labs that helped to take some of these university concepts and bring them close enough in for industry to pick them up. In the mid to late 90s, and certainly this century, there are almost no industrial research labs in the United States. That's a vacuum, because at the university, we continue to do 7+ year research. It's the very nature of what we do. The federal funding cycle, our students are average 5 or 6 year PhDs. We just can't shrink that really. And industry, if anything, has brought its focus into where 2 years is considered far out. So there's this vacuum in between. And that is the opportunity for startups. If you take on a startup, what you're helping to do is to take these university concepts, bring it a step closer to where industry might pick it up. I remain convinced that university does not adopt new technology unless there is competition. In other words, they already sell what they sell, and nobody's motivated to change that product. If you go and create a startup, you show that there's a market need. If the customers say, I want that, either that industry has to introduce it, or they will buy you so that they will have that product. That's the opportunity why we should do startups here as a faculty. Very important for the students also to be involved in startups. Let me just remind you, even if you look at a school like Stanford, where virtually every professor in the College of Engineering has started a company, all the biggest hits might have had faculty involvement, but they were student companies. You know, Hewlett-Packard, Cisco, Yahoo, Google, YouTube, you name them. All of these were student-run companies. At the University of Michigan, we need to provide the fishing pole to enable our students to be successful in doing these startups. We're not talking about giving them a fish to feed them for a day, but we're really talking about how do we teach them to fish so they can continue to do companies. For my own role, after coming back from Xterra, I thought that was very important. I've created 2 courses, one on high-tech entrepreneurship, so the students can figure out, are they entrepreneurs? Do they want to go down this path? And if so, how do they put one foot in front of the other? I've also created another course on patent fundamentals for engineers, because if you're doing high-tech startups, you need to have a patent as a barrier to entry, so that you'll have enough time to develop your technology without the large companies coming in, and you'll be able to get funding for that project. I'm also the chair of a subcommittee within the College of Engineering studying how to put together a certificate program for entrepreneurship. And so I think that's very important. I want to end on a note, and that is, unfortunately he passed away last year, Ted Doan, who was the chairman of the Dow Foundation. He made a statement, what Michigan needs more than anything else is a few home runs, a few success stories. You know, this used to be a state of great entrepreneurship once upon a time when we had the Henry Fords and the Herbert Dows creating companies, building it for the long term. And then somehow over the decades we've lost our way. We got complacent. Our students started to believe that the ultimate job is to work at a large company. Well, now that the rug is being pulled out from under us with Pfizer leaving town, the big 3 automakers losing market share to where they're no longer going to be the big 3, all of our companies competing in the global marketplace, this is the time for entrepreneurship. This is the opportunity. It's time for us to take this on. With that, I thank, again, all of you for your attention and for coming.